What's going on, everyone? So Los Angeles Lakers, they need those splash trades. They do at this point, right? We've seen this Lakers team time and time again. They just took a week off to just get blown out by the San Antonio Spurs. It's embarrassing. It really is. It's embarrassing. Now, I do think there's really two paths. Either you do the big splash trade or you go get like 3 to 4 kind of like lower to mid-tier guys and really kind of just upgrade the sort of back end of this roster, right? Like get an Io and a Cody Martin and a Josh Green and a Nick Richards, and just get like, again, 3 to 5 guys that can really just better upgrade your top 8, right? Talk about that in another video. Kind of focus on those. I want to focus on the splash trade in this because I do think the Lakers really need a splash trade. Did a whole rant on Zach Lavine. Obviously, Zach Lavine would be one of those splash trades. Get me an Io and a Zach Lavine and throw in a Torrey Craig or something and let's go, right? Like, just raises the ceiling enough. But beyond that, beyond a Zach Lavine, right, I think that they need to get like 2 higher tier guys. They got a Dorian Finney-Smith, who that's the dirty work guy. That's the guy that's going to do the hustle plays, and he's been great at that. Think you need those splash guys, right? And so that would mean go get like a Nikola Vucevic and like Alonzo Ball, right? And take the risk, take the flyer. Or get a Nikola Vucevic and like a Bruce Brown, or Nikola Vucevic and a Malcolm Brogdon, right? Get that versatile point of attack sort of pit bull guard, and then get that like 2010 center that can plug in and slot in, right? Or go just like the perimeter route and go get like a Kyle Kuzma and a Bruce Brown, and just go. At that point, me personally, I would go with Austin Reaves off the bench. I know every time I talk about Austin Reaves off the bench or anything like that, the Reaves stands come out of the woodworks and go like, oh, you just hate Austin Reaves. I don't hate Austin Reaves. Where was he last night? Where was he the game before that? It's funny how every time Austin Reaves has a terrible game, all the Reaves stands just completely disappear. Like, did live streams both games and not a Reaves fan in sight. But as soon as Austin Reaves has a good game, everyone's like, oh, you're just a Reaves hater. You hate Reaves. I don't hate Reaves. He's a good role player. But guess what? Role player. Keyword, role player. Right? 2 words. But the point is that Austin Reaves as your third guy is not going to cut it unless you just get those like dogs around him. Right, a Bruce Brown, Dorian Finney-Smith, alongside Austin Reaves, LeBron, and AD. Now you got those 2 dogs, those 2 pit bulls, fight over screens that can stop teams hunting Austin Reaves regularly. You got Anthony Davis, you're going to be better defensively, right? Do the dirty work. Or, a healthy Lonzo or something. Like, you need to upgrade in those regards, right? You could get like a mid-tier guy. Like, I also wouldn't hate getting like a Vucevic and then like an Io for, say, like a first and, whatever salary filler, right? But say you give up a first, get those guys, and let's say two seconds, right? Because, Vu, supposedly you could have for 2 seconds. Let's say Io's worth the first, right? I don't even know if he is worth that, but I would do it just because, again, gives you that versatile guard, and he's 24 years old, so he's a piece for now and the future, but gives you that athleticism, that point of attack, versatile guard, right? Do something like that, and then I'd hit up Charlotte and be like, hey, what do you want for Nick Richards and Cody Martin? Right? Like, and figure that out. That's another $20 million in salary. Now all of a sudden you got like that splash guy, right? You got athleticism, versatility. Like, those are the ways that the Lakers are really going to reshape and change this roster. Their top 8 guys are just not good enough. You got LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and then you don't know who's going to show up. Like, who can you count on a nightly basis? You don't know if Austin Reaves is showing up and going to give you that 25, 8, and 8 guy, or if Austin Reaves is going to be, 4 of 14 from the floor, have 5 turnovers, and just, like, get cooked all night defensively, right? He had the game the previous, week ago now, and was like, I was really bad on both sides of the basketball court. Well, what's your excuse now? This is the second game. I mean, how many times are we going to have to hear, like, yeah, I got to do a better job on both sides of the basketball court? Well, yeah, duh, right? But, like, Reaves fans don't want to admit it. Again, Austin Reaves gives you 5 good games, 5 bad games. He's done it the same thing for 2 years now. That's who he is. He's consistently inconsistent. He has those games where you're like, wow, this guy is incredible. And then he'll have 3 to 5 games where you're just like, all right, reality just set back in. But you have like this group of people that just believe he's like Michael Jordan reincarnated, and he's not. Right? So either A, you need to upgrade, bring him off the bench and let him be your 6th man where he is best and he can just cook and he doesn't have to worry about anything else. And if he's a defensive liability, it's not a big deal because you can just bring him to the bench, right? Whatever you got to do. Right? But him as your 3rd guy, unless you get those splash guys, right? Like if you get a Nikola Vucevic. My only concern with Nikola Vucevic is LeBron having to play the 3 full time. That's literally my only concern. The problem is at this point, I think you have no choice. At this point, I think you might have to do that. Right? Like, and just take the risk and figure it out from there. Because, like, Vu could basically be your 3rd guy if you needed him to. Right? Again, give you 20-10 a night. Right? Maybe he doesn't give you quite that because you're playing alongside LeBron James, Anthony Davis, but he might. Right? Because you could scatter him and Anthony Davis. You could literally just run your offense through him in the 2nd unit. Right? Like just put a bunch of defenders around him and just run your offense through him. He can make plays out of the post, score around the rim. Right? Like I would love to see, say Anthony Davis and LeBron go to the bench, have like Nikola Vucevic out there with like Gabe Vincent, Dorian Finney, or Max Christie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and if Jared Vanderbilt come back, Jared Vanderbilt, right? And it's like, yeah, I understand your lack of floor space, but Vu's ability to pass out of the post, you'd have Max Christie, Dorian Finney-Smith for your floor spacing. Gabe Vincent's been shooting the 3 ball well recently. I mean, obviously, if you trade Gabe Vincent in at a deal or whatever, then that's what you do. But like, I don't know, Lakers need to figure something out is the point, right? Like, and I think that the only way that they're really going to, I'd rather them make the splash trade and it's just a disaster than not do anything. Right? And just kind of stay where we're at. Or just like get, a Nick Richards and be like, well, got Nick Richards and Dorian Finney-Smith. What else do you want from me? Like to win, right? Like, again, you might, like, you could make the splash. Let's say you get Bruce Brown and, Nikola Vucevic. Let's say you just stick with one team. Nikola Vucevic and Lonzo Ball. Say you get those 2 guys. And let's say Lonzo stays healthy and he gets back to being like a 70% version of himself. Great. Right? You still might not win, but at least you made the attempt. At least you kind of know your core guys, and in the offseason you can kind of piece around whatever else you need to. LeBron James can take discount, get you under the tax or the apron, and so you can free up your full mid-level, maybe go get another guy or 2. Right? But at least you made the effort. At least you showed, like, hey, I'm trying to do this. And same thing. I'm as big on Zach Lavine as possible. I think Zach Lavine has, by himself, with Dorian Finney-Smith and this team, I think by himself might make us a contender in that conversation. Obviously, you got to see how things play out, how it all works and shape up. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Lakers are like, oh, wow, Lakers are really good now. But even then, there's the chance that you don't win. Right? Nothing's guaranteed. But at least you made the chance, right? People say like, what happens if Zach Lavine doesn't work? You're not winning anything. You're not winning anything now. Why does it matter? Right? Like, okay, so we're in the same boat we are now. Right? Like, what's the difference? And we're stuck for 2 years anyway, right? We're stuck until this iteration of LeBron and AD leave, or you trade LeBron and AD at that point. You keep Lavine, and maybe you could still be competitive, right? Like, whatever. You figure it out. Right? Like, especially if you don't have to give up any first or anything, like, you might be able to just get off of Zach Lavine. Right? If it doesn't work out next year, like, let's say, because you're going to finish this year and then you're going to give it a full year. Let's say it doesn't work out next year. Zach Lavine would be an expiring contract at that point, and you'd have like 4 firsts at that point to like go make a move and do something. Right? You don't think you turn Zach Lavine and multiple firsts into something, especially if Zach Lavine's expiring contract. Have you seen how valuable expiring contracts are right now in the NBA? I just think it'd be fine. I think you figure it out. Right? I think the Lakers need to go make that splash trade. I've maintained all since the offseason. What have I said? That they need like 3 to 4 like mid-tier guys, or like a higher tier and then like a mid-tier and then like 2 lower tier guys. Right? I've always maintained you need probably 3 to 4 guys. We got 1 so far. You either need to get a Zach Lavine, which to me is like the equivalent of like 2 guys. And then kind of, again, that like lower tier guy, like, can you get an Io or, a Josh Green or, Cody Martin or something like that, right? Can you get that other guy? And then, or can you get like I said, a Vucevic with like a Bruce Brown and then like a low tier guy, right? Things like that. That's what the Lakers need to do. That's what the Lakers need to look at, in my opinion, right? If they really want a chance to win a championship, that's the direction I think that they need to take. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with my points? Do you disagree with my points? Kind of mixed in the middle. What kind of big splash trade would you like to see them do? Do you think like, no, don't do a big splash trade, just do like the little minor trades or whatever? What are your thoughts? However you feel, let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.